Welcome.
Hi, I'm Katie Morrell. I'm a creative and writer based in Bend, Oregon.
And I'm Karen Hawkins. I am the founder of Rebellious Magazine for Women and co-publisher and co-editor-in-chief of the Chicago Reader.
You are listening to Of Course I'm Not Okay, the podcast. Join us as we talk about mental health, coping with quarantine, and creativity.
For some of our episodes, we'll talk with writers, creatives, and activists to get their take. Thank you for joining us on this journey.
All right. Hi, Karen. I love seeing your beautiful face. Happy late February, I guess it is.
Oh, good Lord. Katie, always good to see your gorgeous face. And oh my God, how's it? February? The end of February? Mid-February? What the hell?
Yeah, I don't even know. 22nd, I think, is when this is coming out, which seems, that's when my credit card statement comes out. And so that's like that's like something in my life where I always know when the 22nd is. And I don't know, it's like radar, like how much more can I spend type of thing. But even that, it always feels like the end of the month. So
Yes.
yeah, but it's really nice to connect with you. I always look forward to our chats because it's honestly something that like grounds me. And even when I have like the craziest week, it's just like so wonderful. And I just want to have a moment of appreciation.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And I feel like it's like it. I mean, we've talked about this. We both have therapy, but then we also have this, and it's like the same, it serves the same function as like a container of like, oh my God, I can't believe this thing happened. I can't wait to talk to Katie about it.
Yes.
Like,
Yes. This is really like, it's an add-on of therapy or like supplemental.
Yes.
I don't know. Or it's its own thing. It's its own thing. But yes, I'm the same with you. I'm like, oh, I have to, bookmark that in my mind to make sure to mention it to you. But yes, before we press record, you were mentioning that you kind of had a moment this week where there was a wall that was reached, it sounds like.
Yes. And listeners, I don't know how many of you can relate to this experience, but I will just say Wednesday, I had a day full of Zoom meetings, and then I had an hour-long phone call at the end of the day, and I just felt depleted. That is the only word I can use. I had a headache. I was super grouchy with my staff. Sorry, staff, if any of you are listening. I was done. And that was Wednesday. I woke up Thursday morning and my brain was just like, oh no, sweetheart, we're done. No, we're not doing that again. And in fact, we're not doing anything today. We're doing nothing today. And like, I had all these things to do that required like the creative parts of my brain, like
Totally.
plans and applications and all of these things. And my brain was like, nope.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I resonate with what you're saying so deeply. And I think that for me, it's like when there's Zoom and phone calls, somehow that's worse. I don't know. I can double down on if it's just Zoom, but if it's Zoom for 6 hours or even anything more than 4 hours, which is kind of a norm for me, I'm just like, I turn into mush. And I think it's also like, I'm holding in so much energy, trying to expend it, like trying to like give the people who are on the other end so much energy that when I get off, I have nothing left. It's like, it's a gas tank that is like under red. It's under E.
Yeah. 1,000% that is exactly how I felt. And as I'm thinking about my brain, the creative parts of my brain, I was trying to access, like, I feel like it was just like a toddler in the corner, like, nope, no.
No.
I'm not going to work today. I'm not going to school today. I'm not doing anything today. And you can't make me.
Yes,
That's what
like
happens.
pouting. Like, yes, you're not gonna make me. This is not happening. No. Like how toddlers, their favorite word is no. Just no, all the time.
Yes.
Which I appreciate. Boundaries. I mean, that's great. Good for them. But somehow we unlearn that at some point. But I mean, I'm so with you. I have had so many of those days in this pandemic. And it's just like, I think for me, the real struggle is, in addition to the fact where I'm like, okay, I guess my to-do list is going to have to wait another day, is the like me trying to fish myself out. And like that actually takes more energy. And it's honestly, it's harder on me. Like I'm trying to get to the place where I'm just like relaxing into it and being like, okay, I'm going to do the bare minimum. Like, I'm not going to get fired for my clients, but I'm not going to go above and beyond.
Yeah, that was also the struggle for me. Like, it took me about until, like, I was fine for a couple hours in the morning, and then I hit this wall, and I kept trying to like pull the toddler over the wall, and no, we're not going anywhere.
Right?
So yeah,
Well,
that was the hard part.
I have to say that you and I don't think are alone, because just this morning, Kate Silver, one of our favorite humans who was on the pod earlier in this, I guess, season 2. But anyway, she texted me, and I had talked to her over the phone last night. And she was telling me that, like, she kind of had like a slower Friday that was coming up, because we record this, listeners, on a Friday. So I talked to her on a Thursday. Anyway, and she texted me and she's like, yeah, I just put my out of office and I'm going to listen to you and Karen and your last few episodes. So just FYI, you're my vacation. And I was like, oh, I love you so much. Thank you, Kate. I love you. I know you're listening, or I hope you're listening on your vacation. But really, it's like, it's so funny because it's exactly what you're saying. Like, where she was like, yeah, no, just not.
No, and it's not weaponizing the out of office, but really leaning into the power of the out of office. Like, my brain has told me no, and now I'm telling all of you no. I'm not checking email. I'm not responding to you. If you're on fire, call 911. You're just going to have to wait.
I mean, it's actually like an accountability system for yourself, because it's like the people in your life who email you will see that and be like, all right, whatever. I'll just talk to her on Monday. And like, then it's like you, and that's the thing that really gets me, is like one day off. I mean, yes, I have a tremendous amount of privilege for being able to take a day off when I need to. And I feel like one day off is not going to burn my life down or burn my career or my projects down or anything like that. And I think that's something that I struggle to remember sometimes, actually.
Absolutely. Especially when you work deadline oriented jobs.
Yes.
And they just seem to stack up, and it's like, oh no. The worst feeling in the world is feeling like you can't take the day off.
Yes.
That's the worst.
That is the worst.
Yeah.
And when people on the other side are like mad that if you were late for something, speaking only for myself, this week I had a few things that were a little behind, and I was just like, I am sorry, but and then another thing, this week was President's Day week, and Tyler had Monday off, so I try really hard to coincide my time off with his if I can. And so we took Monday off, and it was nice. And then by Wednesday, both of us were like, how is this not Friday? So the point of the story is that I am like lobbying now publicly, just to you, and I guess I've talked to Tyler about it, but now everybody else, that we should have 3-day weeks. Like,
shit.
Yeah. Seriously. Okay, 4-day weeks at the very most when you're like super slammed. But seriously, Karen, like, I feel like if you can't get absolutely everything done in 3 days, like maybe you have too much on your plate, or maybe, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I could get everything that I have to get done in 3 days, but I'm just saying, ideally, that would be really, really nice.
I could not agree with you more. And I have always thought it was a giant scam that we work 5 days and have 2 off. Who decided that was a good idea?
Yeah, that is very uneven. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I tried to get around this when I quit my full-time job a couple years ago and went like full-time freelance running Rebellious. I read that 4-day work week book and really tried to incorporate. No, it's not. If you either have to be that guy or everybody around you has to agree to the 4-day week.
Yes, that's so true. Maybe we can start a movement. 3-day work week.
3-day, exactly. You heard it here, folks.
Yeah, we will be explaining this concept on some of our merch in the future to all of you 3-dayers. I really feel like we could build something here, because a 3-day work week just makes so much sense. And I'm not even talking about 3 12-hour days or any of that bullshit. I'm talking about 3 6 to 8 hour days where you're heavily caffeinated. I'm heavily caffeinated. And if you're into caffeine, and you just power through. I mean, I will say, when I have a day off, like if it's a day off, like a Monday or whatever, and I go back to work, my first 2 to 4 hours, I blaze, honestly. Like, I feel awesome. And I honestly feel like in those, let's say, first 4 hours, I get sometimes, truly, sometimes I get 8 hours worth of work done when I factor in all the breaks that I need to take and my mental health breaks and like whatever. I actually do. I'm so much more, I hate the word productive, but I get more done.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, there's also something too, I am remembering this from my consulting days, something to the idea that like meetings are better on certain days of the week. Like you
Ooh,
kind of need to write off Monday and Friday.
totally.
Yeah. And that like there's some like peak meeting time. It's like 10 a.m. Tuesday is like the peak meeting time or something weird like
That's so interesting. I totally can see that because I've done a lot of like research recently on email marketing, and I've heard that like 10 a.m. on Tuesday is the best time to send your email newsletters. And I think it's because people are like, they're like they've burned off the weekend. They're like, all right, you know what? It's Tuesday. I got some energy. I have some energy. And I feel like, I can do this. I can open an email from a rando that's like trying to sell me shit. And so like I feel like there's something to that. I feel like Tuesdays are good days for meetings for sure. Yeah.
Well, our 3-day work week, I feel like you also should have the flexibility to configure it how you like. Like I feel like I could do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and be good.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I actually think ideally it would be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. There's a part of me that is like kind of weird and thinks Thursday, Friday, Saturday, if Saturday wasn't like largely like because I think what I like about Saturday, which I don't like working weekends. I'm like I try really hard not to, but like I like it because I never get emails. Like I never get any emails. It's almost like I'm like, and it's rare when I'm gonna like it has to be a really specific deadline for me to do that. But like I do find that every once in a while, if I'm in a really spacious place or in a good mood and I'm like, you know what, I just need to get like 2 hours of stuff done on Saturday, I do it and I feel better because I'm not getting any input. And so I don't know about spending like a full day on Saturday, but yes, I agree. I think that everyone should have the freedom to configure it the way they want to. I think we're
Maybe
onto
this
something.
we are onto something. Maybe this is our secondary podcast. The second podcast in our network is the 3-day work week.
Yes. Yes. And then you can just interview people who like actually only work, like 20 hours a week and make billions of dollars. Tim Ferriss, we're looking at you, the guy who wrote the 4-Hour Work Week. And so you never know. Yeah. I mean, he's built an empire on 4 hours. So
yes.
Yeah. Also, I'm not sure if he actually works 4 hours, but neither here nor there. I think it'd be interesting to get him on the pod. So anywho, but yes, I just feel like there's a lot to be said about productivity or about maximizing hours worked. And I also think there's something to be said for like, I mean, the fact that there's the 8 to 5 or whatever it is, 9 to 5, 8 to 6, whatever your hours are, like that was established in like the early 20th century because there was so much workplace abuse. And that was like during the Industrial Revolution, or maybe it wasn't the earliest 20th century, maybe it was the late 19th century. I don't know when it was exactly, but like that doesn't actually make sense now that we're like in a completely different era of life.
Absolutely. Well, and let's not, I mean, I will not get on this soapbox for very long, but let's not even talk about how much of the American labor system is derived from slavery.
Ooh, yes.
The fact that your health insurance is tied to where you work and the notion we have about people as commodities. I mean,
yes,
we don't have to go there, but it's a thing.
No, it's absolutely, it's so important to acknowledge because like that is the impetus for all of this. It's the trickle down over 400 and something years, and it's like no, we need to re-examine all of this. So in a very stark topic change, I yet again am so impressed by your ability to come up with incredible topics. And so listeners, Karen texted me a couple of days back and you were saying something about laughter, right?
I did. I said, what if we talked about laughter as the best medicine? And then I told you that I have a hilarious Ginger Buddha story that I wanted to tell you.
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. I'm so happy to talk about laughter. And I feel like, almost, exactly a year into a pandemic, this is a very timely topic. Like, let's talk about this. Let's get into it
Let's
because
get into it.
I need more laughter in my life. What happened with Ginger Buddha? Hi, Tori.
No, hi, Tori. So it was Tuesday, actually, now that I think about it. I'll make this short. I'm on a text thread with Tori and a couple of my church ladies. Yet another blizzard was about to come, and folks on the thread were like, oh, is my kid going to camp tomorrow? And one of our friends, hi, Emily, was like, I have a physical therapy appointment tomorrow. Should I cancel it? And Tori was like, Emily, cancel your physical therapy. I will lead you in jazzercise. And Emily was like, game on. Game on. Appointment canceled. Let's see what you got. And Tori, being Ginger Buddha, ran with it. I shit you not, Katie. Sent us all a Zoom invite for the following day for Tuesday morning. Found on YouTube a jazzercise video led by the founder of jazzercise. Somebody had like uploaded a VHS tape of this woman's workout.
Yes.
Tori wore, I believe, a headband, a leopard print bathing suit, spandex, and made leg warmers out of socks, and led us all in a Zoom jazzercise class at like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my gosh, Karen. Oh my gosh. That's the best thing I've ever heard of. What was it like?
Okay, so this is, I will tell you my favorite part of it. There are 4 of us on this Zoom call. There's a screenshot somewhere of this nonsense. So Tori and Emily are, so Tori's in her full regalia. Emily is wearing a Chicago Reader t-shirt and jeans. Cindy and I are in various stages of work/pajamas, drinking coffee. So the 2 of them are actually doing the workout.
Oh my God.
And Cindy and I are just sitting, drinking coffee, looking at them on the screen. I mean, it's just classic pandemic. It was very pandemic experience.
Is there any better way to start a day though? I don't think I want to do anything different than that at 8 o'clock in the morning. Seriously, Ginger Buddha is so incredible, honestly. That's like such a cool idea. And like, talk about like, I mean, did you feel like lighter throughout the day, or like, did you feel like, or at least did it start the day nicely?
It started the day perfectly. I gotta say, like, it was also one of those things, like, you just forget that your days used to start with like just shooting the shit with people.
Yes.
Like when you got to an office, you didn't just immediately start working. You just kind of hung out with people. It was just also like great to just see people first thing in the morning and to be laughing and watching this wild workout. And yes, it was a great way to start the day. I did feel better all day.
Great. Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Seriously, listeners, if any of you participate in anything like that or create it within your own groups of friends, please tweet at us or tell us on Instagram. I would love to hear about it or see screenshots, because that like warms my heart. Like that makes me so happy. I mean, she was just like, fuck it. She just did it. Like that's,
yeah.
Wow.
I feel like it was a challenge. Like there was a gauntlet thrown. Like, all right, I canceled my PT. What do you got? And she was like, I got you. Yeah, it was really.
That's a good friend.
It's epic. It's true.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I love that story so much. It really makes me think that I should try something like that with some of my friends, or just like it reminds me also of my mom. So when I grew up, so this is 80s here, and we had one of those like unfinished basements with like the cement floor, and we had a 13-inch television that I'm pretty sure was black and white. I don't know. I mean, this was a really long time ago. And she would put on like OG Jane Fonda tapes, and all of the women in the neighborhood would come over in their leotards. And like, they were so serious, Karen. Mom, I love you. I know you're listening. And like, I was so young. I was like 4 maybe or 5. And I would just like go in the corner and watch them. And they were so coordinated. And like, Jane Fonda is just like a leg lift master, and also a master of all things, including human rights. And she's just like the best thing in the world. And oh my God, we need to get Jane Fonda on our pod. Holy shit, right?
Oh, yes, Jane, if you're listening.
Jane, open invite. Any day, anytime, 2 a.m. Sure. But yeah, I mean, that is just, it's like, that's exactly what it was, because it wasn't my mom leading them. No. It was Jane. She was leading them. And I think my mom might've been the only person in the neighborhood who had like a TV or something. I mean, this is the 80s, so I'm pretty sure other people had a TV, but still, maybe she was the only one with the VHS tapes.
I was going to say a VCR. I feel like there was a period of time before everybody had VCRs.
Yes.
That like, yeah, there was the one special house that had it.
That's so true. It's like early 90s-ish maybe is when like they became a little bit more normal. But yeah, I actually grew up with my dad. So he had this Betamax recorder. So for people who don't know, Beta is the prequel to VHS. And basically like a camcorder, if you think of the camcorders in the 90s, like they were, I mean, large, but not, you could hold them with one hand because they had the little strap around the hand. Do you remember this? Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
But Betas look like you're a camera person on like a movie set. Like they're enormous and they have this huge light that like blinds everyone in the room. Anyway, I was really into it because I wanted to be Katie Couric because I thought that my name, Katie, was perfect for news television. So I ended up just doing newscasts all over my neighborhood all the time. My dad would follow me with his Betamax recorder. I know, he's great. He really is. Hi, Dad.
That is an amazing story. Do you have them anywhere?
Oh my God, you know what I do? I do. My dad actually converted them to DVDs and I actually have them in my house. I do. I haven't, and I mean, there's one, okay, this is kind of a funny story. There's one, so my sister's 10 years younger than I am. And there was a period of time where my grandmother, my dad's mom, was pretty ill. And she and my grandfather lived in the northern Michigan. So like us going up there all the time wasn't really we couldn't really do it. And so my dad decided, I mean, this is a great idea, but he decided that he would record like a kind of like almost like a TV episode of like our family. I don't know if it was every week or every month. It was really cool. And so my sister was so little. And so I was like in 7th grade, and I'll never forget, one day we were all sitting in the living room and I was showing my dad on the VHS, thing. We had graduated from Beta at that point, and he was recording me doing one of my cheerleading like routines. And I was really proud of it. I was like, Dad, you have to get this. Like, this is so awesome. And so then I'm standing next to the couch, and my sister, who is like probably 2, maybe 3, she climbs up on the back of the couch and falls off the back. Like a huge, I mean, she's okay. She didn't get a concussion or anything, but it was like a massive crash. And so like, I'm pretty sure I was pissed off that my parents were like interrupting my cheer, like my cheer workout to like tend to my infant sister because she might have cracked her skull, but she's fine. She really is. Not super funny. But anyway, at the time, I thought it was really like, I mean, looking back, I think it's kind of funny. Anyway, that was a major tangent, but yes, video.
But worth it. But also about the wonders of television.
Right?
And, I feel like that's the precursor. I sometimes judge some of these YouTube ladies that I watch. I judge them, but I also watch them. But that is the precursor to that. You were an influencer before influencers were a thing.
I was such an influencer. I mean, Dad, I love you. I am so happy that you followed me around from the swing set to the tire swing to the moment where I narrated how good my Cheerios were I was really like, yeah, it was a thing. I do need to show it to you someday. I don't know, maybe when we have a YouTube channel, then potentially. Oh, speaking of YouTube, oh my gosh. I got a message today from, I hope this is okay for me to say on the pod, but I got a message today from Dr. Tanya Israel on like my Instagram. And she asked for the video, because we record these Zoom calls. She asked for the video of her singing to us because she loved our reaction so much. She's going to upload it on YouTube, and we're going to be YouTube stars, Karen. So listeners, if it has already gone live, which if it hasn't, that's okay too, but we will include it in the description of this podcast. Get excited.
Amazing. Oh, Tanya, we love you. Oh my God.
I love you so much. Oh my God. But yes, I so love talking about laughter because we started this call, getting on the call where I right now am wearing cat glasses, I guess you could say. They look like, I don't know, they're black, and we'll include a picture on the Instagram and Twitter posts. And then you're wearing gorgeous devil horns.
Yes, thank you.
Perfect.
These are my Rebellious. I bought these years ago, and I wore them to every Rebellious event back when we had events in person, of course. Yeah,
that makes so much sense. But even with these outfits, it makes me feel lighter and happier and laugh easier.
It's so important all the time to laugh, but especially now. And especially now when we're also in this place where like it feels weird to laugh and we have all this guilt about joy and laughter. And yeah, that experience of starting the day laughing so hard was really just like a revelation for me. Like, oh yeah, right. This is really good.
That's so good. That's so good. And also to be in community with people you feel safe with and like all of it. It just like makes it so you can really let your guard down. And that's just such a beautiful thing. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And I feel like it also was a good reminder of like that we have the capability, we have the capacity to entertain ourselves. We just don't anymore.
Yes.
We just rely on screens and any buttons we can push to entertain us. But we as humans were born with the ability to entertain ourselves. And I think it's easy to get away from that when you're just looking at a screen all the time. But
yes, that's such a good point. I mean, it's like a perfect example is like a toddler entertaining themselves and like, you know, enjoying the toys in their house or whatever they're playing with. And then sometimes like laughing for seemingly no reason. Like they just think they're funny. And like, it's okay to think you're funny. I think I'm hilarious sometimes. Tyler doesn't always agree, but like, it's fine. Like, I don't actually like, I love puns, for example. And, you know, it's just, I don't know. I can laugh. If I'm in a good mood, I'll laugh easily. I mean, but sometimes I will say that some of the stuff that helps me get to a place of laughter. So listeners, if you're like, okay, cool, great in theory, but how am I going to like get to a place where I can actually laugh when like Ted Cruz is going to Cancun and like I'm just like so annoyed with everyone on the planet? Fair. Your feelings are valid. But I will say, oh, did you want to talk about Ted Cruz?
No, I saw a funny tweet about it.
Oh.
Speaking of laughter, the tweet was, and I'm sorry, I don't remember who it was. It was, it's blame your daughters at work day.
Oh,
Ted Cruz.
That's so great. Yeah, no, that's good. See, Twitter can be funny. It also can be very toxic, but it can be funny at times. Like, also Saturday Night Live. Okay, so these are a few things that I do that help me with getting to a place where I can actually laugh. Number one, going on Netflix and scrolling through the stand-up comedians that I absolutely love. There are so many good stand-up comedy shows. I mean, I'm a huge comedy fan, like in terms of like I love going to comedy shows. And when I was living in San Francisco, it's kind of like this, I mean, Chicago too. Oh my gosh, like with Second City and Improv Olympic and all of it. But like it's very similar in the way that San Francisco operated before the pandemic, where like you can go any night of the week. Like you could totally go to a comedy show. I don't know if Bend is like that, but anyway, I love it. And so I go on Netflix. Dave Chappelle has great stuff. One of my favorites is Ronnie Chang, who is one of the correspondents for The Daily Show. Oh my gosh, Karen, he is seriously so funny. He's very deadpan. And I liked his special so much that I've never done this before with any other comic. I watched it twice, not in the same day, but like in the same 6-month period. And I was like, that's amazing. I had to pause it because I was laughing so hard. Anyway, so Ronnie Chang, Dave Chappelle. I mean, I think Ellen is pretty funny sometimes. I will say that like I love watching Saturday Night Live and like just clips of Saturday Night Live. One thing that I'm loving right now is on YouTube, you can go, James Corden, who's one of the late night hosts on CBS. So he has gotten to the point where I think he just doesn't give a fuck anymore. He's a really cool guy, but like he's been pretty open about how he's struggling through the pandemic. And obviously he's in Los Angeles and well, I guess any place wouldn't allow a studio audience. And so the last couple of weeks, you can go on YouTube and watch his like the beginning. It's not even a monologue anymore. He like riffs with oh my gosh, who is his lead guitarist? He's really famous and I can't remember it now. But anyway, he riffs with the people in his crew. And then when they mess up and the executive producer, it's not a bit. When the executive producer's like, yeah, I'm not sure if we're going to keep that in, they've like just ran with it. And they basically just like publish the whole fucking thing because I don't think they give a shit. And oh my gosh, Karen, it's great. It's exactly what I need to be watching right now.
Yes, I love that. Okay, my comedy go-tos, because I also have stages where I binge Netflix comedy. The 2 Ali Wong specials Oh my God.
Oh my
Yes.
God. Cobra, something, baby Cobra.
Oh my God, baby Cobra. And then, oh no, what's the other one called? It's gonna kill me. It's a pun. We'll link it. Wanda Sykes.
Yes.
Of course, the one that everybody watched, Nanette, the Hannah Gadsby.
Oh God.
Yeah.
And Douglas, her second one, that she's
I
amazing.
haven't seen Douglas.
Yeah, Nanette is better, but I do think it's amazing, both.
I mean, I love Saturday Night Live. And what I'm really loving is that, yes, you can just watch a sketch at a time. You can just watch a bit from the news. Like, the thing about Saturday Night Live is that it's hit or miss. Like, the bangers are bangers, and the ones that fall flat are just like embarrassing to watch. So I prefer to know in advance, like, oh, 5.9 million people have watched this in the last day. I'm gonna watch that one.
Isn't that amazing how like we're able to basically know what the reviews are before we watch it and be like, is this worth our time? It's actually amazing. It's so great because when I watch it live, which is rare, but if I ever do, and it's not good, it is so cringeworthy. It's like, wow, I'm never getting that 30 minutes back. It's awful.
Like, I one of the ones I watched, I watched the Zillow sketch because people kept telling me I had to watch it. They're like, no, Karen, no, you need to watch it because, no, it's true. I for a while, Zillow and Redfin were like, yeah, real estate porn, it's a thing.
Yes. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, what was it, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, Daniel Levy, who is the star and creator of Schitt's Creek, he is an absolute genius. And he was hosting, and there is a commercial, like those fake commercials that SNL does, all about how if you're in your late 30s or early 40s, and maybe you used to like sex, basically is what they said. You're not wanting for anything now because Zillow. So, I mean, it's so real. It's so real. Yeah, we'll link that too. But yes, I absolutely love it. And I feel like there's something to be said. I feel like everyone knows that, it's good for you to laugh and that kind of thing. But I did do 1.5 seconds of research and I found like 75 million hits on Google, and I will just go through a few of them. This one, this Mayo Clinic talks about like the level of stress relief that it can actually, like the short-term benefits of laughing. It can stimulate your organs to be like more oxygen rich. It stimulates your heart. That's amazing. It activates and releases your stress response. So like, like it cools down your stress response, meaning like, yeah, it relieves it. It soothes tension. It improves your immune system. It relieves pain. I mean, there's just so many things.
So many things. And I feel like it reminds me that like, there are so many things in the world that we used to be able to find funny that we're not able to find funny anymore, or that are not funny anymore. And like, now we just maybe have to get creative about finding those things. Like, I feel like SNL has cleaned up its act for the most part, right? Yeah. Feminist comedy is always going to be, generally speaking, good to watch. Like, I feel like I'm happy that we have so many options, and that we have gotten to a place, hopefully as a culture, knock on wood, that comedians, like this toxic era of comedians being able to say whatever terrible, racist, sexist, horrible thing they wanted and being like, I'm a comedian, it's a joke. Like, I'm hoping that that's over. And that now, right, that like now we're in a place where like comedy is actually funny and not just about punching down all the time. And if you don't have time to watch a comedy show or watch a sketch or watch a clip of your favorite scene from a movie, I will tell you that all of the personal assistant technology will all tell you jokes. Alexa will tell you jokes. Yeah. Hey, Google will tell you jokes. Oh my, they're terrible.
Well, that's kind of funny sometimes.
My partner Sam used to work at Amazon, and the Alexa team would crowdsource jokes for Alexa from the Amazon staff. Of course, there are like 300,000 of them. But you could send in jokes to have Alexa tell, and you just say, Alexa, tell me a joke, and she'll tell you a bad, bad joke.
So you can ask like Siri to tell you a joke. Like,
I'm sure of it. I've had Alexa in the past, and I have Google Nest now. Oh my God, what did she tell me today?
is Google Nest like a phone, or is?
Oh no, it's like an Alexa. Like I have like a little
Oh.
one that looks like a dot, and like it will tell me the weather and play music and play podcasts. And
Got it.
yes, she told me a terrible joke today. I'm not even going to repeat it, but she will also, if you ask any of them, I think they all are programmed to do this. If you ask them if they're better than the other one, like, hey, Google, are you better than Siri? All of us PAs have to stick together. Like they have this line that they say about how like, yeah.
That's awesome.
It's hard out here for a personal assistant. Yeah.
That's such a good hack though. Like if you're walking into a meeting where you're like, oh my God, this is the bane of my existence, and you have 3 minutes, just ask Siri to lighten your mood. That's genius. It's a great idea. Yeah. But if any of you listening have a great joke that you want to share with us, please reach out and we will share it with the network of other listeners. And yeah, I just wish everyone like moments of laughter. I was going to say laughter filled week. And like, let's be honest. I would like to have a laughter filled week. Maybe that is your experience, but yeah, moments every day if we can, or a few times a week.
I also, before I forget, I don't have my phone on me. So I also want to give a quick shout out to Caroline, longtime listener. She texted me this week. Last week I talked about this is my AIDS ride, the idea of comparison and how dangerous it can be. And the way that she framed it was, this is my pandemic.
Ooh.
Like instead of, I know it's so good, right? Like instead of having this weird guilt or shame or whatever, that we all have this weirdness we all have about how we're experiencing the pandemic and how much it's better than whoever or whatever. Like, no, this is my pandemic.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Thank you, Caroline. That's so genius. That's something to live by, honestly. Just like whenever you feel like you're in a shame spiral or a little thought of shame or like a little shame bird comes on your shoulder, or whatever you want to say, just turn to that little bird and be like, look, bitch, this is my pandemic. I'm just saying what I'm going to be doing pretty soon in the next 30 minutes.
Yes, same.
Oh, yes. All right. Well, we're wishing you all love, and we will see you next week.